Alright, hey guys, we're going to do a simple video on how we mount up Lexan bodies. I know that this is a chore that many are kind of timid to tackle, and it's really easy, really simple. We have our host Lexan Body here. I have a couple of tools, have straight scissors, Sharpie, and then I have some, these are actually 1/24 scale body pins that I use because they're nice and sharp and they're pretty long, so you can hold on to them really good. And we'll just kind of go through this. We have our donor car here. You want to use whatever car you're going to be mounting the body to. We like to mount the pinhole, or mount the body and pin it and outline the wheel wells before we paint it. And that way, once it's painted, all that you're doing is you're going back and trimming out the wheel wells and trimming around the perimeter of the body. It makes it much easier, much more fail-proof, and you'll have a higher success rate doing it this way. And we're more than happy to hear your comments on that, but we're going to go ahead and get started here. So we have our host body. This is a Porsche RS Spider. No mask required for this one, so we don't have to mask off any windows, which is why I used it today. So the first thing we'll do is we'll set it down on the car, and you want to get kind of the body positioned where it is sitting in the wheel wells correctly, and you want to look at the front to make sure that it's level, and also look at the back to make sure that it's level. The host bodies, along with the Viper bodies, they are really flat, and you can actually just set them right on the car just like this, and pin them from there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take these pins, and I can see exactly where the body mounts are, and I'll go ahead and I'll pin the rear, and I'll move around to the other side, and I'll pin the rear of this one as well. I do that just because I've found that sometimes the pressure of pushing it, if you do one side and the entire side, it might shift the body, and then you'll end up with a body that's sits a little bit crooked to the car. So now you can see that that body's pinned on there. The front is flat on our test piece here. Sometimes if I want the front to be lower, I'll actually put the front wheels right on the edge, and I'll lower the body down with my finger just like I did right there. So now the front is a little bit lower, and that's really up to you, depends on the body style, but we'll slide it back to where we were, and I'll go ahead and pin the front body tube, both sides, and there you can see our pinned body. So now that has the pinholes in there, so if you were to paint it right now, you would be able to put it back on, and everything's going to line back up right and perfect. What I do, I don't ever mask the wheel wells from the inside. It's just too much work. It's too hard to get inside of there, and so I take a Sharpie and I will outline the wheel well. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're just really giving yourself a reference point for where the wheel wells are. So if you look at that, they're just drawn on there. I mean, you could use anything. You could use one of the wheel well mask and stick it on the outside. I'm kind of just throwing this out here. This is how we do it, but I'd love to see how other guys do the wheel wells, especially on the outside, because once you cut this out, that mark's going to be gone, and if there is any black mark, like if you were to mark the body on accident, just use a little bit of rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol and a paper towel, and it'll wipe right off. So you won't have to worry about getting your getting the Sharpie on the body. Same thing goes with overspray. If you have overspray, it's no big deal. But that's pretty much it. That's going to be your mounted body. It's pinned and it's outlined for where it needs to be trimmed. The next step that we would do is, and this is a critical step, is you want to prep the inside surface of your body, okay? You want to take some, like I use a red Scotch-Brite, you can use gray, anything that you can come in here and you want to scuff everything really good. And don't be worried that, I mean, you are scratching the inside of this, but you're scratching the inside where the paint sticks. You're not scratching the outside. This outside clear shell, it acts like a clear coat. And these scratches, when you paint it, you won't even be able to see them. But what it will do for you is it'll allow the paint to adhere to the body so much better than it would otherwise. And it's kind of tough to see, but it's just faint. I go a little heavier on the front. I don't focus as much on the rear because usually if we crash these cars, we're crashing them in the front. And then the next step, you would want to take you know, just a piece of paper towel. I have isopropyl alcohol or denatured alcohol, and make sure that your fingers are dry, because if you touch your marker, it's gonna wipe that off. But I go through and I just wipe it out, just clean out any dust and debris. You can use a little bit of, if you have an air compressor or keyboard cleaner, you can shoot it off also. But that preps the body really good. Now this is ready to be prepped for paint. And an easy way to mask this guy so that you don't get a ton of overspray, you can actually take a piece of paper, and you can lay it out, but I've done it enough times to kind of know where to eyeball, and you would fold it in half, cut out a square like that, and it's going to give you this rectangle that fits right over your car. And you can use blue painter's tape, and we actually would flip it over, use blue painter's tape on the sides, and you just make a nice little little holder for your body there, and that allows you to hold the paper and you can shoot your paint on there. And you know, having your paint warmed up, I usually will put it in a cup or a bowl and in warm water, and then also I have a little space heater that I will use to warm the Lexan up. Just a little bit. It doesn't need to be super hot. You don't want to melt the body, but that really makes a huge difference on your prep. And the next step would be painting this guy up. So that's it.